Donovan, another win.
I mean, that's what it's all about. It's not about anything else. It's not about stats. It's not about, what we could have done on third down or whatever. We did what we needed to do to win the game. That's the most important thing.
So one thing that I know that you must be happy about, given what you've said over the weeks, is the last 2 weeks, the ability to get Dallas Goedert the ball. I know you've been really encouraging them to go to the tight end, and Goedert has really made plays every time he's gotten the ball the last couple of weeks.
Well, this is the thing, and kind of watching Kellen Moore, knowing Kellen Moore's offense and his resume, it's about the intermediate passing game. It's about involving your tight ends and running back. But my thing in the beginning of the season, remember, I talked about what is our identity, and our identity has to start with 26. And when you start with Saquon, then it opens up the opportunity to be able to get downfield in a play-action game. Now, the thing that Kellen Moore hasn't had is he hasn't had a running back that can be able to tote the ball 25 to 30 times a game and involve him in the passing game. He's had either one or the other, and he really hasn't had the running attack that he has now with the offensive line as well as Saquon, because when he was in Dallas, he had smaller running backs after they got rid of pretty much Zeke. So I just think for what we've seen, it's been a progression on offense, and we're at a point right now where the momentum is leading in our direction because we have the running attack and a little bit of play action. But the thing that we have to continue to evolve is we have to evolve a little bit more of the downfield passing attack to soften up the coverage.
I want to stay locked in on Saquon for one more question, Five. When you're looking at him and having a player like that, right, that you can hand the ball off to, and he has the ability to go to the house on any play. What's that like for a quarterback? What's that like for the offense to have that type of explosive weapon?
Well, the thing is, I've had the opportunity to play with three of probably the best three running backs, really four, added Deuce into the mix. I played with three of the probably best running backs of what they've done. And that's LaShawn McCoy, Brian Westbrook, and in Minnesota playing with Adrian Peterson. And what that does is now as an offensive coordinator, you have to be able to utilize that part of the game and add it to separate, to get your guys involved. And so what's next? You have to be able to control the middle of the football field. So you have to have a tight end that linebackers now, when they see ball and play action, now they commit, you can go right over the top. And so now what do? You put a single high safety, go either zone or man on the outside. Then you have to have a prize receiver that can beat any coverage that he may be faced with one-on-one. And so we have those particular levels, but if we don't utilize them in that order, then now we're just trying to just drop back, throw, and it's not going to work out consistently in our favor. So Saquon has been a guy that Jalen can definitely lean on. And not only that, but Coach Stoutland. We need to give credit to Coach Stoutland and what he's been able to do with this offensive line with having a guy like Saquon to give him those opportunities for those big runs.
Donovan, throwing the ball in snow like it was yesterday, like what kind of a challenge is that, from grip to footing to all of those things?
Well, I mean, with snow, you have to add in the elements as far as how cold is it, because that ball could be a brick. And so, with Jalen, having pretty much big hands, him being able to hold on to the football helps out in any way possible. But again, when you play in late January and February, we're talking about you got to have a run game. If you have a run game now, you don't have to throw the ball 35, maybe 40 times. You can throw the ball, between 20 and 28 times, and if you're running the football 30 times, however, if it's a running back, if it's your quarterback, whatever it may be, now you're having a balanced attack, and it keeps you on the field and while the clock is moving. And that's exactly what happened with us in the game against the Rams.
Donovan, what do you think about the just to drill down on a couple of play calls, because you mentioned Kellen Moore. One was that toward the end of the game, I think it was 2nd and 6, and they ran that bootleg where Donovan when Jalen got sacked, and then the play that the safety happened on, where they called a pass there. Positives and negatives to passing the ball in those situations, and what did you think of their decision to do that?
Well, I think what Kellen was expecting, definitely for the safety, he was expecting probably man coverage, where, we can kind of get the ball to our outside quickly to our guys, if not hit the check down with Saquon, and it didn't happen. We got beat. We weren't able to step up in the pocket, which led to a safety. And I think for the bootleg, same thing. We have been running the ball effectively with Saquon. Now you think if we show a little run, get linebackers and ends to commit, now we can get on the outside of the corner to be able to get the ball to at least our check first read would be our tight end, and our second level guy would probably be our crosser, or our third read, which is probably a comeback to the outside. I can't recall the pattern or the combination that we have, but usually you have your safety blanket in the flat. And what they did was, I believe at that particular time, the D tackle went wide, and he bumped our tight end, which led to the end taking the tight end, and now he was already wide waiting on Jalen, and then that led to the sack. So you got to give credit to defense that you play because, hey, they get paid as well, too. But, we could have done a little bit differently, yes, but I think what it did was now put it in a position where defensive coordinators have to figure out what's next, and they went in our face.
Man, Jalen took a nasty sack, and his
Right.
leg got caught up under him. I was honestly pleasantly surprised that it wasn't more severe than what it was. He was able to come back in the game. I don't know how much adrenaline had to do with that, but he didn't seem as mobile throughout the rest of the game.
Right.
Moving forward, how do you think that impacts his play for next week? Do you think that, I know you're not a doctor, you didn't examine him, but how do you think that impacts him if he's not as mobile next week?
Well, I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express, so
yeah, I figured you would go there. Yeah.
I mean, the way you asked me, you act like I got scrubs on and scalpel.
Hey, come on, man. Hey, listen, you're a Four Seasons guy. You ain't no Holiday Inn Express, man. You're a Four Seasons guy, man. Come on now.
Depending on the situation, me, I'm the same buddy. But you know what? The whole thing about it, it was a little bit of adrenaline, and then when you get in those situations as a quarterback, when you're not kind of restricting yourself, and so you're not holding back, he kind of went with it, which helped. And the best thing was his leg popped out. It kind of came out of the whole thing, and so you're not stuck in that position. I think he will be sore this week. How much can we get from him as far as mobility is concerned? I think he'll be a little bit more mobile than we expect, but it still won't be at 100%, and no one's at 100% at this particular point in the season. But I will say this, that was a penalty. We talk so much as far as the tackling where linebackers or DNs are starting to drop and
the hip drop,
swing.
Yeah,
that's a penalty. I mean, especially from what we've seen in that Kansas City game where everything looked like it was a penalty on Patrick. We're talking, and then all of a sudden all the ref's explanation for it, because I've been in the situation, I thought you were running. That ain't got nothing to do with me holding the ball behind the tackle.
Right.
And so I think that was a penalty and something they need to look into definitely this offseason.
Donovan, we have Jayden Daniels and the Commanders coming in here on Sunday. Jayden Daniels is playing like the
best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say anything else. He looks incredible.
Right.
What is the game plan for somebody like him, like if there is one? How do they attack Jayden Daniels?
Much rush. I think what you're going to start to see tackles and ends staying in their lane and not getting beat and contained outside. And what do? That means now it puts pressure on your secondary, and obviously with one of our best young corners going out with injury, we like to see what happens with him, and will he be back healthy to be able to play? We definitely need that, but I think you have to go into the mush rush where everyone is now pushing and pulling and being in their lane. Anyone kind of get out of their lanes leaves a running lane for him. But with saying that, we got to understand that he's not just a runner. He's delivering the ball from the pocket.
Yes, sir.
And so we can talk so much as if he's scrambling quarterback, as people want to utilize that and use and analyze that way. But he's a pocket passer first, and he is delivering strikes. And so if we leave any anybody with a glimpse of being a step open, he's delivering the ball. And so I just think for what we have to look at our first game that we played against them and how we were able to close up lanes, get pressure on them, be physical with the receivers on the outside, and now that throws off the timing in their passing game. If we can get back to the way we played in game one and not in game two late in the second half, then we'll have a great chance in this particular game.
Yeah. You think we win on Sunday?
Absolutely. I think this is a game in which, and we haven't played a full game where passing, running, getting turnovers, getting off on third down. We haven't played that perfect game yet, and I hope that this particular game, but if we're 75% of that perfect game, I think we have a great chance of winning.
All right, Donovan. Well, hopefully we're talking to you a week from today and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. All right, brother. Well, we thank you.
We'll
always,
be making
Donovan.
plans to meet up at happy hour somewhere on, what is it, in the French Quarters?
No, we're staying away from Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street?
No
No.
Bourbon
I
Street.
have to check with my book club. And
Yeah.
see
Book club.
All right,
what
Donovan.
time we're meeting at the book club.
All right, brother.
That, my brother. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Donovan.